many are sitting thinking, look, the euro crisis has already split many of the EU members. The refugee crisis has created big fragmentation lines across Schengen and across the European Union project. So it's simply wrong to imagine that in any part of Europe there is still a dream of a United States of Europe. And if that's the case, if the European Union has all kind of, in a sober way, stepped back to say, let's be a very cooperative union of countries, why do you hold to a fear that being part of the European Union will encroach on British decision-making and sovereignty?
Well, let's just get to that word, fear. This is not fear, this is rational thinking. The fact is, the EU is aiming for more integration. It's absolutely clear in a lot of what it says. Juncker has talked about a European army. There's a military staff in the EU. They've done exercises on Salisbury Plain. I mean, the fact is that more integration is coming. And, of course, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. That is going to be a big, big problem. I mean, virtually every nation within the EU is up in arms about it. The people, the ordinary people who are not politicians are up in arms about this because they see it as more control by big business over governments, not just over their lives, but over governments. Big business will have the right to sue governments. How can that be right? It just isn't. Okay, so that's your image of the Europe of the future. It is towards the superstate Europe. Miriam, what's your vision of what the European Union will look like in the future?
Well, I hope that the European Union goes through a process of rethinking whether everybody can go at the same speed or whether we should start thinking about two different... I have always been in favor for quite a few years of going at two different speeds to make it workable. But I think that we are facing a massive political issue on the eastern border of the European Union. At the go of our immediate neighbor, Russia, some of the democracies and liberties in the Central and Eastern Europe have started to crumble. And I think that we need to immediately try to rethink how we organize ourselves so that that does not happen. We did a lot on this in history, a lot of positive things, a lot of this from this country, and it cannot be that we are going to see all that unravel.
So it's a Europe of quite close cooperation at different speeds. Sharon, what's your vision of the Europe that...
Well, I think there will be different speeds. I'm not sure that it's necessarily always just going to be within the euro and out. I mean, you can't transport the sunshine of Spain to Finland, so there will always be economic differences and tensions. But we face real geopolitical uncertainty, as Miriam has alluded to, and indeed even climate change. That is a big problem, and that's going to cause an awful lot of migration pressures in the future as well. That's already happening in the Ganges Delta, and so over in other countries they're having to deal with a lot of that. So when we've got those big geopolitical pressures, the fact that you have got an organisation where you're used to working together, you're used to working together over a whole range of quite complex subjects, but if you need to take sanctions, as we did against Russia, then it actually makes it easier for everybody to understand where one another is and to come up with regimes. So being together is enabling us to be far more effective and powerful.